Alright, so this is another Vivid Dream video, and this video is going to be about where it picks up in a setting of some kind of artistic, in a studio production sort of layout. So the stream was very, it was very interesting because it was vivid, but it would go vivid and then it would go lucid into vivid, but it happened so fast that the theme of the whole dream became fundamental, so it wasn't like irrelevant like some of the dreams I have. So the theme, there was two themes to this dream. One was, again, it was in a studio, like an acting stage or something, like an actor. I don't really know. I'll get into it. But it was it was like class. And then the other one was an adventure like Lord of the Rings, where I was with my companionships, like the Fellowship of the Ring, but it wasn't anything to do with Lord of the Rings. It was to do with a character like myself, who was the main character, and there was a horde. And I saw a map, and it was like Lord of the Rings, or kind of like Magic the Gathering, or Dungeons and Dragons. It was very like that, very mountainous, and like a city, and then terrain, and then a town, and then terrain, and then a tower, and then terrain, and then a citadel. But this one was different because it had citadels through the map, right through the map. And on the other, so it was separated between the Alliance and the Horde, but the Alliance was completely being crushed. And so the Fellowship was me and two other guys, and I'll get into that later. It was really wild and exciting. So back to the first part, the studio, how this dream picked up. The first awareness I had of becoming vivid was the studio. I walked into a studio and I automatically knew some people in it, but I didn't stay with those friends because I decided that I wanted to sit alone because I felt like I would get my space and I could learn about acting. Yeah, it was acting. So this lady is this lady's talking about acting, and so long story short, I get what I want from acting, and so I decide to get up and sit beside my friends, and it's these two girls, and it's odd because I know them, but they're like from like New Zealand. That's the feeling I got. They're like traveling, and so they traveled here for this class, or they were just visiting or something, but they are my friends, and so not in real life, but in the dream I knew them somehow. So I had that same similarity, like I felt like these are my friends. So one knew that I liked her, which was interesting because I like men, and so it was a secret between me and her. But the other friend knew that I also like guys. So it was... Anyways, so me and my friends, we are walking and we're going through this town. And we're buying stuff and we're shopping. And it becomes sort of... So, what's the word? I don't even know what the word is. Rome? Or Romanian? A Romanian shopping, or like maybe it's like Egyptian, but Romanian? I don't really know how to explain that. And there's like just stuff hanging, and you can buy stuff, and it's not very American. It's outside, and it was interesting. it was like a hut, but it was like a village, and they're selling stuff. And so we went through this village, and it was interesting just to explore this theme. Okay, so I'm getting to the part where this odd thing happened where we got back to the studio for learning, and for some reason we had to act and pretend like we died. But the whole class had to partake in this course. And so this course played itself out. But first we had to introduce ourselves. So I introduced myself, and then there was at least 35 people. And my friends were on this side, I was here, we were all sitting, and then for some reason there was like this trench, and we had to all get inside the trench. We all had each trenches, and each trench was filled with water. And I got into the trench, and we had to pretend like we died. And so I pretended like I died, and well, I got shot. I had to pretend I got shot, and I had to pretend that I died. And the theme was to see how people reacted and projected death in this acting course. And so I had to pretend like I actually died. And so when it came, I watched one person. It was weird. It was like a fast forward to one person, and then it became my turn to project that I'm dying. And so my friend, so the whole class is watching me, and my friend pretends to shoot me. And so I fall into the trench, and then it was weird because I did a really good job. I remember actually being like, I was like, but I remember every like moment, and it was like so important to me to get this right. And so I died, and I stayed in it for a bit. And so I'm acting that I'm dead. And so I have to sit in it while the class still watches me dead. It's weird. It's like I have to hold my breath, pretend I'm dead. It was very interesting. It made me think about after I woke up, like what it's actually like for people in movies to pretend like they die. So I had that experience, and it's very, it feels real. It's weird. It feels like you died, but you're just aware that you're still alive. You're dead. It was like I'm dead. I had to believe it, but I was like somehow my consciousness was still aware of the room. It was cool. So an odd thing happened. So that was the end of this studio session. And then what happened was then the dream became lucid. So I guess that theme was finished, and then I actually became dead. And so I came out of body, and I was in a dream, lucid dreaming, being aware of being out of body. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I don't know how to explain it. So it's just basically out of body right now. I just became out of body as I'm talking to you guys, but I'm in a dream. So this was a dream, me talking to you, but now I've become out of body. And so it became vivid again, and I felt, holy shit, I'm out of body now. And I look back, and I see myself dead in the trench, and I see all of a sudden that everybody's dead in the trench. And they're not acting, they're all dead. And so now I'm officially dead, and I'm out of body. And I felt really shaky, because I felt like this is not like astral. This was nothing like I've ever experienced before. It was cold. It wasn't negative, but it felt cold. And I was walking around in this out-of-body experience. I couldn't fly. I was just like a ghost, but I couldn't move. I couldn't go through walls. It was weird. I had to partake in physical reality, but as this like ghost. And it was very not like myself. It wasn't very like exciting. I'm always super energetic and like, let's fly, let's do magic. This was nothing like that. It was just like I was stuck. And so I knew I didn't like it. I didn't like this at all. And a part of me was excited because I felt like, wow, I can actually leave the studio, even though everybody's dead, and I could go explore. And I decided that this wasn't right. This wasn't the right timing for this weird setting, this weird motion happening to me. So whenever this was, it was odd. And so I looked at my body. I'm like, I'm climbing back into I have to get back into my body. I need to get back. So I did. I got back. I climbed into the trench, and I felt like it was weird. So I climbed into my body as much as I could, and I projected myself as I was on the trench like this, dead. So I couldn't get into my body unless I projected myself. Like I couldn't just like into the body like a spirit could. I had to actually like physically walk into the body and project myself. I had to copy myself, sorry. So I did. I copied how I sat. I fell into the trench, put my arm like that arm, and then I put my arm up like this, and then I slowly adapted into the physical body. Freaky and weird. I know. I have no explanation for the stream. Other than that, it was what it was. So an experience that I don't know. I don't even understand what it meant. Normally, I wake up from a dream. I'm like, okay, this is helping me with this. Okay, this means this. Okay, there was no. So I'm moving on because I can't even. It was weird, but it was real. It was again vivid, and it was like physical like now. So it was just like, wow. Okay, so into Lord of the Rings / Dungeons and Dragons, the final ending of the dream, which again, it's 2 parts. So this one was freaky exciting though, because there was a lot of weird stuff happening in this dream. Like betrayal and killing off a friend and weird shit, but all in order to survive and to keep my clan alive. So here we go. So this Lord of the Rings type setting, I saw the map first. So it was like I entered a game. It was like, doo-doo-doo, here's the game. So I saw the game. I'll show you the map. So there was towers, and then there was the ocean, and there was boats, and it was very medieval, like Vikings. And then there was a few towers, and then a big citadel, which was not like one big citadel. It was like a citadel, but of buildings. And then it went up to one little like church citadel. And that was like the entire universe of this Horde world. And the Alliance world was crushed and burning and destroyed. So I felt like kind of like Legolas without a bow. And I had my fellowship with me, which was 2 guys. And so we're on this trek to save the world, even though there's only us 3 left. So it's like we had to redeem ourselves and kill off the Horde. So, and it felt very legit. It felt like this was my calling. Like I felt like this is, like I felt like, you know when you play a video game and you're like, this is the greatest game ever and my character is the best? This is what it felt like. But in 3D, like reality. It was cool. So, okay, so this vivid dream took place on a hill, and not a mountaintop, but a hilltop with a citadel tower kind of thing. So it was like the final citadel tower between the Alliance and the Horde. So I'll explain that again. So the Alliance is crushed, like you know. The Horde is abundant, and they're basically taking over this dream, this theme, this game, this map, sorry. And so in between is like this neutral zone, but the Horde are, I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense as I talk about it, but when you're in the dream, you don't think about these things. But now I talk about it, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, but so I guess it felt more like the Horde tower, but they were like, I don't know. Maybe it was just us, the last 3 of us, defending this tower. Maybe that was it, but we were hiding. So, anyways, there were no Horde in this tower. Whether it was Alliance or Horde, I don't know, but it felt neutral and it felt empty. And so we had to sneak into the tower because you had to go up this path into the tower, and then through the tower into another path, which led up into a mountain. So this tower was like a stepping stone into the Horde lands. That's exactly what it was like. And because I saw the forest over, you can see a forest, and then you can see it was wild. So this is where the whole dream partakes. And so I didn't have a bow. I had a sword. And so my two guys had a sword, and the other guy had a bow. And there was this little goblin horde guy who caught us, and he was like a spy. He was looking for the final three, which is us. And so he ran really fast, and he was trying to get back to the horde, and my bow guy shot him in the back. And so we decided that we wanted to move forward, and so and so we did. We started moving forward, but we heard horns, and we realized that there was a horde encampment just coming out from the forest. And so this was our final stand, basically, between this little army of orcs. And so we started fighting, and I only remember fighting 2 orcs, but there was supposedly a lot, because there was a lot of sound and clashing, which makes no sense in the dream again, because you're like, there's only 3 of us, so where'd the army like, where's all this fighting happening? There's only 3 of us. But in the background I heard like fighting and all this shit, so I don't know, maybe there was more of us, but the feeling was there was only 3 of us, so I don't know, man. I'm just going with it. This is what I remember. So eventually one of my friends died. I killed this other orc, and so I have to run towards the forest, and my other guy's limping because he just fought off whatever was there, and he starts to turn on me for some reason. Like I don't know, it was weird. And so I had to kill him, which was very scary, because it's your only friend left in this world, and I had to, like, I don't know why, but I was like choking him. Like, I had my arms around him, and I was trying, I had a sword, like I could have just stabbed him, but I didn't. I felt like that was too abusive or something. I don't know, man. That was my feeling. I was a weird warrior back then or something in this dream. So I was just choking him, which was super more aggressive and dark. And as I was choking him, I felt like I could cry, because I felt so bad. But I knew that this guy was going to kill me. I knew he was going to betray me for some reason. And so, long story short, he dies. I feel overwhelming, not sadness, but like, I don't even know. It's just like overwhelming feelings of like, wow, how could my life turn out to, how could this happen? Like, how could my friend or whatever? And so, yeah, so that was where the dream ends. And I knew that I had to take myself to the tower, and if I wanted to finish off the orcs and the horde, I had to go to this final citadel in the dark of the horde, and I had to destroy this tower, just like Lord of the Rings, but without a ring. And so I went on this adventure on my own. I was the last guy, and I was fighting off the horde, and I destroyed each little town by myself. It was weird. And I killed each general, and each general had a prize. So I got stronger with each general I killed, each orc general, I got a prize. It was like a magic sword, or it was like a magic shield and a magic talisman, which led me to the next prize and got me stronger, which I eventually got up to the hill. The hill up to the citadel. And so that's where the dream ended, because I finished off this game and I didn't feel any better. So from that dream though, honestly, it was interesting, because I felt like that there's no end. And I've always known this, like, even if you finish a game, you're like, okay, well, I gotta finish another game, like, but it was weird, because it was like, yeah, I knew this all along, that like, no matter how much you slay and how much you destroy and how much you conquer, or not conquer and try and get revenge. Or I guess that was the theme as I'm exploring now through this video. I'm seeing now that it was about it was about that there's always more, that there's always going to be more. And so it kind of just made me feel like maybe it's okay to slow down in life and enjoy each little moment, because no matter in these epic situations, these epic settings with you're losing your friends and killing off people who are going to betray you and all this like magic and stuff, eventually just came down to the same thing, which was like enjoy life. And it didn't happen. It just came to be like, when you go through all that and you shed all that light onto something and you go through an entire game, it really puts a perspective on everything. It's like, well, now what? And so it makes every little thing in real life, like now in this video, feel like so epic. I don't know if that makes sense, and it doesn't really make sense to me, but it's just a feeling it's come through. And it just makes me feel epic, like driving the car or just like eating with a spoon. That sounds crazy, and it does, but it makes you feel like listening to music, or just like your cat is really something special in life, because it feels like you don't have to strive to be amazing. Like you have everything already, and every little thing is a gift in life. So I know that took a whole different turn, but I mean, what else can I say? Like that, what are the meaning of these dreams? So I'll be honest, this video is hilarious, because normally I have a theme and I'm like, yeah, I have something to talk about today. This is just the most random shit I've ever experienced. So yeah, I can't really make sense of any of it. So that's what I got from it, was that it just made me feel like life is more abundant, and that maybe it makes me look at my business a little bit more. Like maybe I should slow down just a little bit and say thank you more and give more love back to people I do business with OnlyFans, because that's my self-employment right now. I don't know, whatever you guys think of this, comment on it. If you think it's an absolute irrelevant video, it's all good.